I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Yeats. I'm the director of Ireland's National Theatre, the Abbey Theatre, which was founded by Yeats and Lady Gregory and John Milton for the sole purpose of telling our stories on our stage. Again, a kid growing up in Dublin, the Abbey was always the last theatre that you would imagine you'd do a rock and roll show in.
Romantic Ireland's dead and gone. It's with O'Leary in the grave. In the grave.
Taking Yeats's work and presenting it in such a new way is a radical artistic step, and nowhere better than his own theatre.
Those names that stilled your childish play, they have gone about the world like wind. Yet little time.
September 1913 was written 100 years ago about the money-grabbing clergy of the day and the bourgeoisie who were very unsympathetic to the plight of the Dublin workers.
And what, God help them, could they say?
When you look at a poem like September 1913, that poem could be written yesterday. That poem has an extraordinary resonance today in terms of what has let us down as a society.
Romantic Ireland's dead and gone. It's with O'Leary in the grave.
I think that if he'd been around today, he would have found much fuel for a similar emotive fire.
Some woman's yellow hair has maddened every mother's son. They weighed so lightly what they gave, what they gave.
My process of selection of the poems is very down to earth. You know, I put the book of poems on the piano and I work through from page 1 to page 600 and whatever it is. And if the first line of a poem suggests a tune, I'll work on it. Does this lyric work as a song? And if so, how can I best give it form and make it electric and inspiring?
Bolt and bar the shutters, for the foul winds blow. Our minds are at their best this night, and I seem to know that everything outside us is mad as the mist and snow. That everything outside us is mad as the mist and snow.
23 years ago, the Waterboys were rehearsing in Dublin, and someone had a tape recorder running, and we did this particularly visceral jam session. We did it for about 20 minutes, and Wickham was playing this amazing skirling fiddle reel over the top. And I always loved that jam, that recording. It's a very rough recording, but it had a wonderful power. I'd always intended to do something with it, but nothing had ever clicked. And then when I was working on the Mr. Yeats material, I hit on Mad as the Mist and Snow. It was a song, a poem I really wanted to set to music. I think it's a brilliant, very, very powerful poem, what it says, questioning the whole meaning of existence. And a light bulb went off above my head, as they do in comic strips, and I thought, oh yes, these words, that old jam. On one hand, I deeply respect the Abbey Theatre and deeply respect Yeats and the affection and reverence in which both are held. And at the same time, parallel with that, without diminishing that at all, I want to mess with it and play with it and present it in a new aspect, new lights that may be anathema to some people or some of the custodians of the tradition. And as a rock and roller, I consider it part of my duty to kind of poke a stick at people who see themselves as custodians.
This was the last poem in Yeats' last book of poetry. So I like to think of it as the last track of his last album. Kind of a love poem called Politics.
The Waterboy has always been a floating ensemble. It's a larger lineup than I've ever worked with before, and I'm like a child inside an exquisite musical box with the many possibilities that are open to me.
And maybe what they say is true of war and war's alarms. But oh, that I were young again and held her in my arms.
Well, I believe Yeats's words are timeless. I think he transcended the times in which he found himself. And his themes and the way he treated them are eternal.
They shall be remembered forever. They shall be alive forever. They shall be speaking forever. The people shall hear them forever. Let the sea bear witness. Let the wind bear witness. Let the earth bear witness. Let the stars bear witness. They shall be remembered forever.
There will always be lovers, and they'll always find resonance in Yeats's words about love. As human beings, we'll always need dreams and mythologies, and the ones that Yeats carved are pretty good.
Let the sea bear witness. Let the wind bear witness. Let the earth bear witness.
Just looking at the first date, I think it was about 2 years or something like that since we started. Just imagining, it was no, there's going to be a big Yeats show, it was just what if.
I think people would come out of this alive, refreshed and animated. I mean, excited, but because there's about an hour and 20 minutes of extraordinary new material. For me, yes, the Waterboys fans have come to it, and new audiences have come to it, and the age gap is extraordinary. I mean, last night there was somebody there who was 17 years of age, up to I think mid-60s. In fairness to Mike Scott, it is an appointment with Mr. Yeats. He said that from the start, and he's delivered on that from the start.
They shall be speaking forever.
I feel the historical resonance of us performing Yeats's words in this venue.
They shall be remembered.
I feel it when I stand on the stage.
They shall be alive.
I think there is an element of, you know,
They
Yeats
shall be speaking for
walking among us when we do this to a certain extent. No doubt about it. It's like a kind of a rock and roll seance.
They shall be remembered forever. They shall be alive forever. They shall be speaking forever. The people shall hear them forever.
I'd say we've got a really kicking band with a great lyricist.